during a golf session with some mutual friends of ours, had a person next to him who was egging this on, saying to Trump, and I know this because, again, this is a mutual friend, aren't you mad at Candace? Aren't you mad at Candace? Aren't you mad at Candace? And eventually he was like, yeah, I'm so mad at Candace. I'm so mad at Candace. And this got back to me that he was upset with me, that he was angry at me. And the next time that I saw him, he was quite rude to me. He was actually rude to me.
You just got a glimpse of Candace Owens beginning to turn on Donald Trump, as many other conservatives and right-wing media have after the terrible performance of Republican candidates in the midterm elections. A lot of blame going around, a lot of that blame pointing to Donald Trump because he endorsed flawed candidates who then went on to lose. Now, this trend is just awesome. It really, it's fun watching it. I'm curious to see how it plays out. There is this very real effort to prop up Ron DeSantis as a replacement for Donald Trump. I think that might actually backfire if DeSantis decides to run against Trump during the Republican primaries in 2024. But nonetheless, I'm kind of bearing the lead because the New York Post is getting real harsh. And here's the latest example. Their latest cover has Trump modeled after Humpty Dumpty. They call him Trumpty Dumpty. And they write, Don, who couldn't build a wall, had a great fall. Can all the GOP's men put the party back together again? Oof. And there's a vicious op-ed about Donald Trump in the New York Post as well, which I'll give you a few excerpts from in just a minute. But before I do, Cenk, can you believe that Trump was mad at Candace Owens? I mean, that's really the big story of the day.
So look, now everybody's turning on Trump. Brian Kilmeade saying he should butt out of the Herschel Walker race because all he could do is damage Walker. Wow, that's on Fox News. Laura Ingraham turning on him. No, he's hurt, dog. Don't ask me if he's all right. That's the bigger story here. But a quick comment about Candace Owens. What a petty person.
I know, like, he was rude.
Yeah,
he was rude. He was rude to me.
Yeah, I can't believe he did that. And Sally said, Susie said that Trump said this about me, and that's why you shouldn't support Trump. That's why you shouldn't support Trump? By the way, behind the scenes, you'd be amazed at what happens in Democratic politics. I don't come on here and be like, oh my God, Sally said, Susie said she was mean to me, so don't support her. No, what's their policies? Who cares how they are to us? Are they gonna pass laws that help your life?
No, okay. I hold a grudge, I would care.
Okay, well, that's another thing.
You're a better person than I am, 100%. He does not hold a grudge, and even if there's a Democratic candidate who's done and said vicious things to him, he'll still promote that person. It's amazing, I wouldn't.
Okay, it depends on their policies.
Right, exactly.
That's the only thing I care about. Okay, so now back to the main story here. Guys, this is title fight. This is the big one. So for 20 years now, I've heard the annoying news actors on MSNBC and CNN say, this is the election of our lives. Oh my God, you know what? There's internal fighting among the Republicans. Oh, that's gonna hurt them. No, it doesn't. Like, for example, the Tea Party. All they did was they moved the overturn window to the right, meaning they pushed both the Republican Party and Washington, DC overall to further right wing. It didn't hurt the Republicans at all. The primaries they had didn't make the party weaker, they made their party stronger before, okay? So now, so every story that I've ever heard like that, I thought, oh, BS, man, God. In fact, you're actually helping their Republicans. But this one is very different. Why is it different? Because Trump is two things that are very important. One is he's so unhinged, he's now finally completely hurting them in the elections. Like, it's not arguable anymore. So if they stick with Trump, they're doomed. They're gonna keep losing and losing and losing. So the jury's in. That forces the hand of the otherwise cowardly establishment Republicans. They no longer have a choice. If they don't fight him, their party is ruined, right? But if they do fight him, their party might be ruined. Because Trump is like a wounded, cornered animal. So, and he's like, and those kind of animals are the most vicious, and he was already vicious to begin with. So he's gonna try to tear their face off. So it's, and I, okay.
God, this story.
But it's true.
It's so good.
And you're gonna see, by the way, traditional Republicans for the first time now ripping Trump's face off. So look, there's that video of that they put on Truth Social where Trump is the lion and the hyenas are coming for him and stuff. Now there's pre-election, and I don't mean to feed into that because he ain't anybody's lion other than a cowardly lion in the long run. But there is an analogy here because the other Republicans were dogs and he made them all heel, and we saw it. That was his one upside, and we've been honest about that throughout. He said Ted Cruz heel, and that dog healed, right? But now those dogs have turned into hyenas. And they've always been angry, and they've been stewing and stewing and stewing, and now they're ready to fight. So it's going to be a cornered lion versus a pack of hyenas, and they're going to rip each other apart.
So you're saying that the chickens came home?
Oh, for sure. Chickens, welcome.
They be roosting. They be roosting.
They're roosting big time.
So I want to get to some excerpts from that op-ed because it was, I mean, I think it's the most vicious anti-Trump op-ed ever. I mean, yes, it is a right-winger publishing it,
yes,
which makes it even more interesting. But I mean, even if you're comparing it to other vicious op-eds toward Trump that were written by liberals, like, no, this is as—
it's not even close.
Not even close. Okay, so let me give it to you. Hey, Lion Ted and Sleepy Joe, meet toxic Trump. You know, if the former president had any self-knowledge or even the slightest ability to be self-deprecating, he might consider giving himself this alliterative nickname. Okay, that's actually the tamest excerpt. Let me keep going. After 3 straight national tallies in which either he or his party or both were hammered by the national electorate, it's time for even his stands to accept the truth. Toxic Trump is the political equivalent of a can of Raid. Okay.
I mean, look, he ain't playing. Here, I'll give you more. He said, what Tuesday night's results suggest is that Trump is perhaps the most profound vote repellent in modern American history. The surest way to lose in these midterms was to be a politician endorsed by Trump. This is not hyperbole. Okay.
And by the way, I think it's important to note, like, we're not fans of the individual who published this and wrote this. He's a terrible person, he's a neocon, but that doesn't matter. It's not about who we like, who we don't like. It's about what's currently transpiring in the context of the Republican Party and what that means for 2024. And I want to go back to what I said, just recently. This could really backfire on Republicans because as they're attempting to prop up DeSantis, they're really forgetting where Trump, dare I say it, shines. And it's on a debate stage where he easily crushed dozens of Republicans who were running against him in the Republican primary in 2016, easily. I mean, I don't know how he did it, but he did it. And it was a joy to watch.
I know how he did it. He did 2 things that are very correct. And the minute a Democrat does it, but with sanity instead of insanity, they're gonna win, but they gotta get past mainstream media. He seemed like a populist. He's not actually a populist, he's elitist. And he even said, I don't want poor people in my cabinet, I only want rich people, right? And by the way, he had the richest cabinet in American history. And what did they do? The only thing they did was pass tax cuts for themselves. Okay, but he seemed like a populist. He talks like a regular guy. Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush were like, these are the notes that were written for me that I will now read. You are in favor of free trade, and they seem like robots and fake phonies, right? And Trump comes in, he doesn't seem like a phony because who else would say idiotic things like that? I mean, nobody's gonna script that, right? He's so far off the prompter, you can't, but that makes him look real and authentic. And the second thing he did that got him the victory was he pointed at all those guys, says, I already gave them money and they did whatever I told them to do because they're corrupt. And that's 100% right. I swear to God, I was on vacation. It was the first debate, I watched it and I said, this thing's already over. Okay, and then I came out here on the show, I said it. And remember, at the time, Trump's already on top of the polls, so it wasn't like I was a genius or anything like that. And Ben and everyone else said, oh, you're crazy. To be fair to Ben, everybody said, you're nuts, Cenk. There's no way in the world that clown can win. And I'm like, guys, this country's been waiting for one politician to say they're all corrupt. It's gonna—
yeah, you were right about that.
It's gonna catch on fire. Of course it's gonna catch on fire. And he ran on Drain the Swamp in 2016. By the way, in 2020, he didn't and he lost.
Just one final excerpt from this piece. Voters have their own problems. This election was about them, not toxic Trump's pathological inability to accept his own failure. and his desperate need to elevate cringe-inducing bootlickers while punishing politicians capable of an independent thought.
Yeah, and I mean, it goes on and on, calling him a boo-hoo whiner who lost his re-election bid due to his own incompetence.
Yeah.
Okay, so Podorts is a terrible neocon who I don't agree with anything on. But that's the thing about right-wingers. They're perfectly happy to be vicious. Like if you ask a Democrat to fight Trump, they're like, I don't want to fight Trump. Okay, I know, I'll call him a racist and then run. Okay, no, that's not really fighting him. So when it comes to Republicans, they're like, step aside, Butch, I got this. Okay, so now the vicious neocons and right-wing hatchet men, etc., are gonna take on the vicious Donald Trump. And they are actually gonna shred each other. And so that is gonna cause them damage in terms of their brand. It's gonna cause damage in terms of they're gonna start endorsing different candidates on each side. And then think about this, guys. This is probably the most important part. Trump today, news is out saying, I'm running no matter what. And people are like, no, they're trying to tackle him. They're like, don't, hold on, just think about it, just think about it. You're at your lowest point. Are you sure? And he's like, oh, I don't care. And he's in a rage and writing, I'm not angry on his platform, right? Okay, now when he runs, everybody's gonna say, DeSantis, you have to run. We gotta beat this guy, otherwise our party's ruined. And now conventional wisdom, and I think it might be right, is that Trump is the only Republican who could lose to a Democrat in 2024. Okay, especially to Joe Biden, okay? So any other Republican probably can easily beat Biden, if I'm being honest, at this point, okay? So they're like, they're saying DeSantis has to run. But when DeSantis runs, Trump is either going to rip him to shreds and win the primary, because he still holds the MAGA voters in his back pocket. By the way, we went to Florida, Michael Schur did these interviews, you can watch it on the Young Turks YouTube channel, and he said DeSantis or Trump. Literally every single person answered Trump, okay? So he's got his crew, and it's a significant crew in the Republican Party, and they're the voters. And so, but if he doesn't win, he might threaten to run as a third party guy and ensure a Democratic victory.
Oh, I love it, yes! Yes! Politics is back, baby.
That's right. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.